Good evening. Here I am. Yes. There's the volume of my voice. Okay, I think so. Right. Well, I'm David from Fertile Pixel. Pretty late starting the stream, and to be honest, I'm surprised that I've started it at all. And here's Smudge. Smudge, why are you so interested in this? Do you think I'm eating this? He's not quite in frame. I do need to just make an adjustment here so that lighting will be a little bit different. Whoa, that is not quite right. Let's call that monitor 1. And is that monitor 2? Yes, okay. That's a little better. Good. He's new here and he's not much of a lab cat, so I don't know if he'll get in frame unless I move the camera. But it's attached to a whole laptop that is balanced on 3 decks of cards to allow airflow for cooling. We'll get there. He hasn't been here a week yet. Anyway, yes. So I'm surprised that I've started streaming at all today. Because I was just, experiencing a certain type of burnout, which is a bit different from the usual type of burnout that I experience, so that's interesting. Yeah. Didn't have good sleep. Looks like Unity's finally starting up. Yeah, I didn't have good sleep, so I didn't have much in reserve to begin with. Then major change of plans due to a last minute thing, which required me to leave the house when I wasn't otherwise going to. A few other things in the morning. Then, like not being able to find parking, having to walk further in the heat than planned, being out for longer than planned, not having made progress with something that I needed to get done, and then just getting randomly hurt for no good reason. Just somebody not being capable of managing their emotions, or responding handily to them and so on. Yeah, it kind of all adds up, and I had nothing left in the tank, so to speak. And then I felt like, well, rather than just kind of wreck myself by just going on as if everything's just completely fine and normal, I'll instead try to actually just recognize what I have going on and purposely stop masking in order to stop kind of continuously draining, any little bit of reserves that I might, what's the word? Why have I got a popped out console here? Now I've got 2 consoles. Interesting. Can I just close one of those? Yeah, so rather than basically just like stay burned out all day. I thought, well, I should be safe to stop masking. So basically stop doing a bunch of the things that drain my reserves that are pretty much just to come across as being more neurotypical than I am. Sort of basically a reflex or learned thing that I constantly do of hiding the autistic traits that I have, often to kind of be polite, and not appear to be callous with other people's emotions and so on. So I tried that, and that didn't work very well. Probably because it's a change from the usual. And so it was somewhat disruptive, and the disruptions that it caused were like basically just fed back into making it even worse, even more draining of reserves. So interesting experiment, not very successful. So I'm just trying to position a window here that doesn't want to be positioned. I'll just manually resize that a bit. Yeah, it's basically kind of threw a spanner in the works of everything else, and then if everything's not kind of going in the usual way, usual routine, etc., then that's just even worse because it's kind of another thing to deal with or cope with or something. So, yeah. All right, jeez. Something to iterate on, I think, because it's not really healthy to be masking as constantly as I am. Not mentally healthy, not physically healthy, I think. That's another thing. I've just been a bit sick. I have an injury that's taking a long time to heal, and some extra pain from some thorns that I'd managed to get embedded under my skin. They're like tiny little ones that snap off, so then they just sort of, you gotta get a needle or something and dig through the thick outer layer of skin to some extent to get them out of there, or just wait until eventually they work their way out. Anyway, quite painful. So just another thing on top of everything else that I'm usually able to, not completely, but to a large extent, what did I say? To a large extent, act as though I'm not bothered by things that I don't think I'm expected to be bothered by. So, like eating food with the wrong spoon shouldn't be a problem. Logically isn't a problem. I'm still able to eat the food, get the nutrients. But it does drain me to some extent. It's a bit like an example that I can't think of. You know what I mean? The problem with coming up with an illustrative example is that it's like the example is from my own experience or from my own perspective. So it might be just going, well, here's something that probably doesn't make sense unless you've got some autistic traits of this particular type. And then I may end up explaining that from a perspective of something that also only makes sense when you have those traits. Yeah, it's weird. I'm sure there will be some kind of like plenty of examples of things that well, trying to come up with something that's a close enough match to the whole thing. Like one thought is like if you're cooking a recipe and you haven't quite got like one of the ingredients you haven't quite got enough of, or you haven't quite got exactly the right type of ingredient. Like, oh, I don't have brown sugar, so I have to use like raw sugar or something. It's like the recipe will probably still come out okay with that substitution. Let's say you're making apple crumble, right? And then you go, okay, well, yeah, it won't be quite the same, but maybe it's all right. Maybe you've got a little bit of molasses that you can mix through and make it a sort of equivalent as well. But then you go, oh, don't have apples. But maybe we've got pears. So, okay, well, it's not going to be an apple crumble anymore. It'll be a pear crumble, but it should still be okay. And then we go, oh, you don't have the usual flour. We've only got some kind of other, we've got corn flour. I don't know, maybe it'll work the same. Let's try it. And you go, oh, we don't have butter either. Closest we got is oil. Okay, well, let's try that. Eventually, it kind of, each substitution just adds up to, at some point, the whole thing just might not work. And I don't know if that recipe was a great example, but, one or two little things, maybe it's okay, but it kind of adds up and eventually it's just completely unrecognizable. I don't think that's a great example because it's not quite like that. I'm thinking of like resources being consumed, and oh yeah, well, how about this one? So you need to go and make a bunch of deliveries or pickups at a bunch of stops driving in a vehicle. And so, you've got, oh, hello. Yes, I know. What do you want me to do? You want me to pat you? And you're getting my attention by standing on my shoulder, are you? If I was a bit further this way, then that might have been more apparent. Yeah, so you need to get in your vehicle, and so you make sure there's enough fuel in there. You know the distance, you get the right amount of fuel in there, and you've planned out enough, the right amount of stuff that you can do with a tank of fuel. But you get to the first place, and there's a note on the door that says, "Oh, moved from here, go, like 5 minutes out of your way that way." And you go, "Oh, okay, well, I'll do that." You go there, you drop off the thing, and then start heading to your next stop. So at that point, you've kind of made you're like 5 to 10 minutes of extra driving, bit more fuel, but you had a bit of a buffer. But then you get to the next place and same thing. So not here, actually. It's a different address now, other side of the train track. So you go there and you pick up what you need to from there and continue. And if there are a few detours, it works out okay. But if you have to keep going out of your way, I'm being bothered over this side now. Yes, hi Smudge. I know you're not a lap cat, but it would be much easier to get my attention from my lap, Looks like you forgot to keep patting me. And yeah, that's kind of a bit like what it's like anytime. Well, okay, hang on. I can now connect this. So, say neurotypical versus not neurotypical in some particular ways, and I'm not going to be super specific about those because I'm not. I don't have a lot of expertise in how that's all referred to, talked about, classified, etc. At the moment, and certainly I'm able to mask a lot of that without it completely draining my reserves most days, which I was going to say is not typical, but I guess I'd say which I'm sure others can and many can't. And who knows? Anyway, yeah, I was going to connect the thing. So basically, like just being neurotypical, it's a bit like either you've got like double the size of fuel tank, and every stop that you have to take a detour, it's like you had a lot more reserve capacity. That's probably not the best way to connect it, really. It's more like where you're heading to, there's no detour. Because it's like, I don't know 100% that this is true for people who are neurotypical. What are you saying? You're saying I forgot to pat you again? Were you just worried about this thing that's attached itself to my head? Yeah, I don't know this 100% because I'm not actually completely sure that I know anyone who's neurotypical. I think I might know a couple of people who are hard to tell because of masking, largely. Anyway, if you get the wrong spoon, and I don't mean the wrong spoon as in a spoon that's physically like not going to work, like it's a big serving spoon and you can't fit in your mouth, or it's a slotted spoon. You can't actually like scoop up your soup in it or something. But I'm just talking about like a spoon that is perfectly serviceable as a spoon, but is not the preferred spoon for some aesthetic or like other reasons, or no reasons at all other than familiarity or something. Yeah, that's kind of like if it isn't even something that registers, that it even matters which spoon you use, as long as it's a spoon that works, then that's like there not being no detour. And Yeah. I need to change my audio output. Hey, we got somebody, and I actually haven't got my chat doc open. Let me get that sorted out. Luckily, I had Chatty open. Diggs BTW1. Is BTW, by the way? Now I've got a chat window open. There we go. So, yeah, I've just been here talking to, who knows, maybe no one, about what I think would possibly be classified as autistic burnout, which I'm not very familiar with because I a lot more strongly have ADHD, but not like super. I don't know if I've got like not very severe ADHD or that it's just balanced out by some autistic spectrum traits, but yeah, hard to explain why it can be so draining. And most days, I don't run out of whatever reserves it is that I use up to just cope. But today I did. But anyway, I was going to look at this robot game, and so far I haven't today. But that's not to say that I won't. I just need to open a different browser profile here. That one, I think. There we are. And that should load up this to-do list. I don't know if that purring's getting captured by the mic. No, it's being effectively removed by the background noise filtering, but Smudge is a very loud purrer. But we need to get a light on for him to show up at all, actually, because he's just very heavily pigmented. Right, so I think where I was basically up to was, and let me just, is this the one here? Just checking. What do we got here? If I go like this, nope, that's not the thing. Is this the one? Ah, yeah, there we go. So I got that set up last time. And I didn't remember what the scene was called, but yeah, so this will actually switch things around. Not ideal because it doesn't show menus, but here we are. So I'm working on the command bots game, and I'll just make that kind of fit here, sort of. Just about there, I think is good. Oh yes, that's right. So we've got the routine editor working. Just get that running there. Routine graph editor. So this is basically controlling what these robots will do when they spawn. So let's just get these robots doing something. Let's just make some double laser robots, and we'll give them a routine. Yeah, got to fix up those things not looking connected until you reselect. Anyway, what we're going to do is we've got the enemy decision, proximity decision. So basically, if there is an enemy detected, then fire the laser. And if there's no enemy detected, then two different options. If you're not about to run into something, then walk forward. If you are about to run into something, then just shoot the laser anyway. Might as well, just in case an enemy like steps into range. And those should both just loop back to start. So that should work. I don't have a way to delete these yet. So when we get one spawning, it should walk forward until it's in range of an enemy and then shoot it, and that didn't work. So what was the deal there? Okay. Okay. It's not detecting them because it hasn't got an enemy sensor, and it hasn't got a proximity sensor either, so nothing will work. Okay, so now when this next one spawns, we should be all good. Meanwhile, we're taking a bit of damage on the factory there. But let's see, now we should just be opening fire because there we go. And then just moved into range, shooting the next one. Okay. And then the next one, when it spawns, because of that proximity sensor, shouldn't run into that one. Let's see if this one survives long enough to have a friend. Anyway, these guys are just here malfunctioning. So let me just fix them up into some shield guys. Give them some shields. And just straightforward wheels. And then I'll get them to do something similar. They're just going to use proximity only. So, and I'll give them a long block. Whoops. Did I? Okay, I had the long block. So, if something's right in front of them, they'll just block. And otherwise they'll walk forward. That should get them basically. Oh, they don't have a proximity sensor on them, so that needs to go there. I can go anywhere, I can go here. Doesn't matter, shouldn't matter. If I coded it right, it won't matter. Okay, so these guys have destroyed their factory already. Oh, interesting. So these guys now, I might actually make a few changes. So yeah, so they're good. I'm going to give them these kind of legs. They're a bit more expensive, but they're allowed to turn left and right with those. So that's really useful. And I just thought to myself, well, maybe I can get them to kind of rotate and look for enemies. So maybe they'll like so this is no enemy, but there is proximity, so I might change that one. So they'll shoot the laser. If they've got no enemy, but something's in front of them, I'm going to have them turn right. And then that might make them kind of start wandering around, shooting enemies. Let's see what happens when one spawns. Cool. That one just turned that way and started firing. Nice. It's going to get run into just here. Oh. And I don't know what these guys are going to do. They're probably just going to sit there forever malfunctioning. Why are they malfunctioning? Well, I can't reselect them because they're behind here. Oh, I can reselect that one actually. Malfunctioning because, let's see, where are they going to be going? Let's say they start at start. They're not sensing an enemy. Okay. Oh, right. The routine, that's a bug. This one. Updates in the routine editor definitely affect already spawned bots. So that's that bug there. So they're trying to turn right, but they've got the wrong kind of legs. So they can't turn right. That's why they're malfunctioning. What? Oh, I think the proximity sensor was like sensing to here. And so that's why it's like just walking straight into it. I'm going to change that proximity sensor out for something that's actually got a collider that is like the whole square in front of the bot. Like that square there. Because at the moment it's just doing a ray trace and checking if something is like within a certain distance, and that's not really doing the trick. It's not giving good results. But yeah, I'm interested in these kind of like search and destroy bots, which will never run into anything because they won't walk forward. They'll just turn and then they'll just keep firing at things. Oh, cool. That one like snuck in behind and fired at the enemy. Now, I think they would collide with that, so it'll turn. And yeah, it's going to go, oh no. They're stuck on each other. That is a shame because I think they're going to be there until something else spawns on top of them and they get exploded. Oh, there was an enemy down there and it started firing at it. Yeah, I think because they're detecting each other as something they'll collide with. That's another thing. I need to really get these bots bumping off each other instead of being able to overlap. Oh, looks like someone's trying to get my attention again. Yeah, which is not ideal. Oh, got lasered. If I give everyone the same routine, and so give them all both sensors, double lasers, expensive legs, or they're just standard legs, they're just not the budget legs, and this routine, enemy proximity. Actually, I can save that routine. I've just got a debug routine saving thing, and I can go here and load that routine. And then I just need to give them the right equipment to be able to run that routine. I don't have a debug button to save the blueprint, but that would be useful at this point. So I could go here, get them all set up. Okay, and load in that routine. Yeah, definitely save and load blueprints will be pretty useful. So I think I want to do that. There we go. Yep, you're good. And load your routine up. Just load that one up. And build a bot. Okay, next. Load. And let's do that on that side. Cool. This one now, load that up. And yep, you need lasers and stuff. And this factory is destroyed, so that's fine. What's the problem there? Oopsie. That routine apparently is not loaded properly for those guys. So let's load the routine, and then I think if I change something in it, that might make it work. No, it's just not the correct routine. So I kind of have to build the whole routine each time. Now you. Okay. If it's an enemy, shoot your laser. If there's no proximity, walk forward. If there's proximity, let's do turn left. We did turn right before. But this one can be left turning. Just for a bit of variety. Now these guys. Okay. Keep most of them turning right. Just see what happens. Okay, this one. Okay. And this. All right. So that should be all of them doing about the same behavior. Let's see what's going on. Now we've got a bunch overlapping each other. I think that might be because of the turn left and turn right things. Oh, these guys are going down here and they're marching back and forth. Interesting. There's an enemy. Oh, here we go. This one's turned around to face its enemy. But it looks like we've pretty much wiped out all the factories. We might actually get a win here. I think I have a victory condition in here. That one's like building a thing. Victory! Hey, there we go. That's a pretty good strategy. Yeah, I don't think I have a restart condition. Yeah, I don't know if I've got a way to actually restart the game from that victory screen. I'd forget if I added that. Oh well. I kind of want to have another game now. Actually, maybe I'll fix up some things, some annoyances. One of the things that I wanted to do is just show the current action. Yeah, I might as well make a start on that. Actually, I'm pretty much at the end of my stream time. And one of the factors that led to burning out today was just not having had enough sleep. Which was partly because I was expecting a relaxed at home day and then ended up having to go somewhere. But yes, I think it would be quite unclever for me to keep going with this stuff now. But yeah, that was a fun little playtest at least, and I can record a little bug here. Maybe. Oh, that's not what I meant to press here. I think Beetle gives me what I want here. So, basically the debug load. Debug load routine doesn't actually put the routine in the selected factory. It is just shown instead of the factory routine. Doesn't update it at all. It's just a debug save load system, but I think it would be really useful to have. And actually also just be good to allow save and load of blueprints. Move with names. So you can choose them. Just initially just during game session. So they'd show up in the blueprint editor. And you could load them. Yeah, so thank you for watching. This has been a relatively short and development light game. No stream. I can make sentences. Who am I kidding? I can't make sentences. Not with all of the intended words. Not consistently. And that's why I'm going to go get some sleep. So, yeah, I still did a stream, even though I was feeling pretty burned out. That was largely because apparently me not going to do my stream was disrupting other stuff. So, yeah. Good to keep up the habit and the streak, though, even if this wasn't super productive. I think just playing the game is actually pretty good, though. Just easy to just keep going with development without just stopping to play. Yeah, definitely more variety will be more variety in the parts of the bots and allowing them to be, larger, more expensive bots that take longer to build, or smaller, cheaper bots that are quick to build but more easily destroyed. Those kind of variations will make it a lot more interesting, and I think it sort of lends itself a lot to being a two-player game, because then a human can try to come up with something that's going to trick you, get around your strategy, and then you can react to that. So that's interesting. And needs to be implemented, prototyped, explored further to see whether that actually ends up making for fun gameplay that's sort of replayable, or if it just ends up being that you kind of come up with an optimal blueprint and routine that just basically covers everything, that just is unbeatable. Well, my attention is being requested from a cat, so I better end it there. Well, that's got huge because that shows up on here. There. That's got all squishy. Well, thank you so much for watching. I've been David from Purtle Pixel, and I will be back next time. Hopefully better rested.